disclaimer before we get into the video. These are, in fact, my opinions, and try not to take this too seriously. Except for you, Spider-Man mains. We need to have a serious conversation, but everybody else, you're cool. Starting out pretty tame, we have Black Panther mains, and the only reason why I say tame is because, well, you guys are actually pretty good at the game, you're pretty solid, you're chill, and whenever you're on the enemy team, I get violently deleted by you, so you clearly know what you're doing. Honestly, compared to a lot of other characters in this game, you guys are just pretty cool. Like, I have nothing bad to say about Black Panther mains. Black Widow. Okay, genuine question, Widow mains. Why in the world would you main her? Her sniper sucks, her utility is almost non-existent, and her secondary weapon is a legitimate joke. I mean, seriously, why would you main her? Oh, I see it now. Okay, so there are two options here. You either play her because you hate yourself, or you play her because, well, actually, now that I'm really thinking about it, this explains a lot about Widow players, actually. I mean, the fact that you guys are playing this game with one hand, that probably explains why you guys do so poorly on the scoreboard. Huh. Yeah, it makes sense, actually.
Nice shot!
Let's be real with ourselves, Hawkeye enjoyers. You just like pub stomping. I don't know what it is with Hawkeye mains, but I feel like they have a gigantic ego, and a healthy chunk I end up playing with only play exclusively quick match because they know if they go into comp, their precious little ego is going to get absolutely shattered across 3 dimensions. Let's say you have a giant ego, but you're about as fragile as glass.
I'm an eagle.
Hela players are just Black Widow players or Hawkeye players, except they're a coward. They're not confident enough in their aim to actually play someone that takes real skill, so they just settle for playing Hela. You are literally just a diet Black Widow and Hawkeye. That's all you are. Sorry, that's just the truth. Iron Fist. Oh, you Iron Fist players are something. I don't know what it is the Iron Fist players, but they just give off the I want attention and I'm compensating for something vibe. Maybe that's just me. Iron Fist mains also seem to get a great deal of joy out of bullying the enemy support. And as much as I hate to say it, they're usually pretty decent at the game. That being said, they do tend to horribly over-exaggerate just how hard it is to actually play Iron Fist. But still, you guys are pretty good, even if I absolutely hate to admit that. Iron Man connoisseurs, you are probably not very good at this game, or at the very least, your mechanical skill is absolutely garbage. And don't even get me started when you guys don't get your team up abilities. Seriously, it's like taking away a baby's pacifier. You guys start whining and complaining, and you talk all this trash, despite the fact that your gameplay loop is literally just randomly firing repulsor blasts from 4 zip codes away, and just sorta hoping for the best. Magik mains, you guys play the role of human mosquito. Now, depending on how good you are either an absolute nightmare to deal with, or you are the easiest possible kill I've ever gotten in my entire life. The skill level for Magik players is all over the place. Like, if you get a Magik player that knows how to combo their abilities, that man probably hasn't seen grass in at least 3 years. But on the other hand, if you meet a Magik main that is absolute garbage, that probably means they do touch grass. And they do, in fact, know what the sun is.
That's my boy. Father help!
You know how the Moon Knight meme is just random bullshit go? That is surprisingly accurate to how Moon Knight players actually behave. They just throw their abilities in every direction and just sort of hope for the best. And I mean, sure, there are some tactical Moon Knight players that are actually good and know what they're doing, but most of the time, the Moon Knight players are just randomly pressing buttons, and via the divine intervention of Khonshu, it just sort of works out for them. I don't know why. It just sort of does. Like, they just press buttons and people just explode. That being said, if you do end up dealing with an actual good Moon Knight that knows what they're doing, those guys are pretty scary. Okay, Namor people, my only question I have to ask is why? Why do you play Namor? Do you play him just to be different? Or, like, what's the deal with you guys? I mean, if I'm being totally honest, I haven't really seen enough Namor players to get a really good impression for them. I mean, the only commonalities I ever see for Namor players is they beg for the team up, because to be fair, he's pretty awful without it. And despite the fact that they're playing a character that is heavily dependent on decent aim, their aim is almost always awful, and they rely solely on their little squid boys to do all the work for them, which usually doesn't work, and the Namor usually goes hard negative. So I just say you guys are kind of weirdos. If you main Psylocke, you probably play this game a little too much. And I don't think your skin has seen the sunlight in years. You guys genuinely play this game like a squirrel with a caffeine injection. You guys are jumping all over the place, hacking and slashing and trying to assassinate people with every waking moment. Your entire existence just revolves around making the individual people on the enemy team hate you. That, or you play Psylocke for the other reason. You know who you are. I don't need to spell it out for you. Scarlet Witch for the Scarlet Witch people. The idea of using mechanical skill disgusts you. And whenever you're not using your secondary attack, you are absolutely useless. It's like your secondary fire might as well not even be a thing because God knows you're never hitting any of those attacks. And despite playing a character that takes absolutely zero skill, you have the audacity to lecture people about how bad they are at the game. Like, you guys are most of you guys are walking hypocrites. It's horrible. That, or you just like turning your brain off and just play this game hyper casually. That's also an option. But that's the minority. Oh, Spider-Man players. You guys are something. You know, I don't think you guys have ever actually seen the MVP screen a day in your life. And I don't know what it is with you guys, but you guys are some of the most toxic individuals I have ever met in my entire life. I feel like every time I have a Spider-Man on my voice chat, they either say something racist, offensive, or both at the same time. Whenever I have a Spider-Man main on my team, that's what I end up dealing with 95% of the time. However, the remaining 5% are lore-accurate Spider-Man. They will delete you before you even know they're there. The 5% Spider-Man is like an F-35. You don't see them coming, and when you do see them, you're already dead. So overall, you're almost guaranteed to have a bad time when you see a Spider-Man in your lobby. Boop. You know that Moon Knight meme I showed you earlier? Yeah, just replace that with Squirrel Girl. Your primary strategy is just to yeet your nuts in 10 different directions and really capturing the spirit of the average pickup artist because you fire off about 20 shots and you manage to miss every single one of them. But the flip side of that coin is you guys are some of the most lucky individuals I have ever met in my entire life. Like, you'll just yeet a random acorn in some direction, it'll bounce off 4 walls, break the space-time continuum, bounce back, and somehow kill the Iron Man that's just coming out of spawn. I don't know how it works. I don't know what madness goes in that brain of yours, but hey, I mean, if it works, I guess.
I enjoyed that way more than I should have.
Star-Lord mains, you are quite possibly some of the most smug individuals I have ever met in my entire life. I mean, you guys are usually very good at the game, especially when you're playing competitive, but good God, you guys just feel the need to flex your skills every chance you get. And I mean, you have a right to be smug, but I hate the fact that you're good at this game. You can save some talent for the rest of us. Thanks. Now go away. Go back to aim training. If you main Storm, you definitely do not like playing Dualist as your preferred role, because otherwise I have no idea why on earth you'd actively choose to play Storm. Unless you're just trying to be a strategist with extra steps, the mental state of a Storm player is basically just, well, if it works, it works. And I can't possibly think of any other reasons why you want to be a Storm main. I mean, not even a little bit.
I eliminate threats and scum who might be threats.
If you main Punisher, chances are you enjoy the color blue, breathing oxygen, and your name is Steve. That's just how Punisher mains are. You guys aren't here for a long time, but you're here for a good time. So, keep doing you, Punisher mains. Pew, pew, pew. Winter Soldier enjoyers, I gotta say, I love the philosophy. I mean, Marvel Rivals is a game full of interesting characters between weather control, magic, futuristic technology, and out of all of these characters, you pick the guy who has the superpower of a gun. That's a choice. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, he's cool. And yeah, he does have an energy ball, so I guess that's technically futuristic technology, but his gameplay loop is literally just a dude who has the superpower of gun. I have nothing wrong with you guys. You guys are usually pretty good. It's just kind of funny that that's what you go with. You do you, I guess.
'Tis but a scratch.
A scratch? Your arm's off.
No, it isn't.
But what's that then?
Wolverine players, you know, I don't know what it is, Wolverine players, but I feel like you guys have a burning hatred for every single Vanguard player out there. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they stole your lunch one day, kicked your puppy. Like, I genuinely don't know what your guys' deal is, but you just have a burning hatred for all Vanguard players. No idea why, it's just the way you are.
You are made of stupid.
For Mr. Fantastic, I'll be honest, he's actually very new. As I'm recording this, the season literally just dropped a few days ago, so I really don't know a lot about him yet. But what I do know is the people that play him have incredibly horrible ADHD because they are constantly mashing buttons, they are constantly just flailing their arms in every direction and just sort of hoping for the best right now. I mean, I'm sure as, the season progresses and they evolve, they'll become more complex. But right now, you're basically just a jackrabbit with a caffeine injection right now. Congratulations, you put up with me for 10 whole minutes. But on the real, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, do the YouTuber stuff, like, comment, subscribe. And on that note, stay strong, stay clear, Spitfire out.